We are live. Welcome. I've been out for a little bit, but locker room access pregame show. We got UVA Tech, big rivalry game. First, I want to shout out everybody for all the support. I appreciate all the messages I've gotten from my father passing. It's been obviously not the most fun experience, but I appreciate all the support. Man, the UVA family has really made me feel special, and I love the fact that we can all share in that. Makes for a real community. Let me just say that, and that means a lot. So, thank you all, and we can kick it off. I think we lost Fresh already. How you doing, Have?
I'm good, man. You and I have talked, but condolences for Baba, and he's watching this game, dude.
Oh, of course, he's not going to miss this.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. Fresh, you all right?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just freezing here. It's about 22 degrees right now and ice everywhere, but we've dealt with that before. Let's hope we don't have ice in Seaville. Quick hitter for everybody. Quick hitter. Dante is warming up.
Oh, Dante warming up. Okay, I like it. In terms of the quote unquote rivalry for basketball, UVA leads 95 to no, it's actually 107 to 92 in men's basketball, 95 to 57 in women's. However, in football, we know Tech leads that one 61, 38, 5 ties. But overall, across all sports, UVA is leading the way 597 to 370 losses, 14 ties. Kind of incredible history here between the two programs. Maybe we can talk about that for a minute. Both of you guys have played them. They weren't conference foes when you guys played, but right. What was that experience like?
Yeah, I can say for the in-state guys, it was a bigger deal. They felt it. They played against each other. They recruited against each other. Huge deal on the football side. Our coaches made a big deal of it. I just personally never felt it. I thought we were better, but they had some good players, great players, and good teams, and they definitely showed up wanting to beat us. That's for sure. And you better match that, against them. My fourth year. We had such a good team. We lost to them in the Richmond Coliseum. And I think 3 of the 4 years the game was at a neutral site. So that always makes it more interesting, I think. I'm not sure why. My first year with Will Coles on that team, I think we beat him, but he turned me around.
Oh, lost Fresh. What do you remember about this rivalry?
Yeah, so I'm a Massachusetts kid, a Boston kid. It wasn't a big rivalry on my radar before I went to Virginia. There was obviously, I was, both my parents went to Ohio State. So my sort of hurdle was like Ohio State, Michigan, which is, one of the top 2 or 3 or the best in college sports. You got Duke, UNC in hoops, Alabama, Auburn, and Ohio State, Michigan. And depending on the year, one of those three rivalries is like, the main thing. So I didn't know much about Virginia Tech. They didn't recruit me. I had no sense of the rivalry, but spending my time in Charlottesville, you realize it's a big deal. It's a Michigan State, South Carolina, Clemson. It's just like that. It means a lot to alumni, and as Fresh alluded to, it means a lot to the players who are from Virginia. I grew into that. As you guys know, I'm not a big Virginia Tech fan for a lot of reasons that I won't go into, but it's a big rivalry. I think this game is even bigger because both teams are struggling. This is a win and you still have a chance to make the NCAA tournament. Lose, and man, it's going to be almost impossible. So a lot at stake tonight, big in-state rivalry. I expect it to be close, and we'll get into game analysis in a minute. But my recollection was we beat the you-know-what out of them pretty much every time we played them.
Yeah,
I mean, it was lopsided.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much of a rivalry because they weren't in the conference back then. So I never looked. I mean, honestly, because I was always basketball versus football, it didn't feel like a huge rivalry. Definitely feels more intense with football. I don't know why that is, but football, maybe that's because that's really Virginia Tech sport. Everybody jokes that Virginia Tech basketball fans are actually UNC fans. But there may be something to do with that. But yeah, I kind of like, I don't know, never really thought of it as like a crazy rivalry either. But I know others think very differently about that. It's always nice to beat them though, for sure.
Yeah, and if I was a dentist, if I was in dental school, I would move to Blacksburg immediately after graduation because there's a lot of potential clients there.
Cheap shot, Hal.
Yeah, no, oh yeah, my bad, Fresh. That was not directed at you.
Maybe I should move to Blacksburg.
I know what. So the game plan, obviously, Padula, here's their big gun there. But what have you looked into them in terms of what they're bringing to the table?
Yeah, I mean, Padula. Let's go into a couple of his stats here. Last 3 games, he's averaging 30 points a game. All right, I don't remember the last time we had a player that scored 30. He's averaging 30 over the last 3, 48% from 3 as well. He's just on fire right now. He's a good player. He's a strong little guy. His problem tonight is that Reese Beekman's going to be checking him.
Yeah, right.
And I think Reese will bother him with his length and his arms and his quickness. And I know in the game plan, the game plan for us is control against us is control McNeely, don't let him shoot threes, and try to keep Reese out of the lane. One of the big points of our game plan will be let's keep Padula from winning this and getting 30 again because that dude can play.
And for us, it's a home game, so I feel like there's maybe a little more pressure on us because I feel like this is when we should win. And I hate to say must win this early, but it really does feel like a must win. We got to get this one. Put all the other stuff aside. Like we need to win. We're struggling on the road. We're now back at home. Can we, show that it is only a road thing, and not let it carry into JPJ in Charlottesville?
Yeah, I want to talk about that for a minute. There's a lot of chatter on forum about home and away. We're back home. We've got, our road loss streak dates back a long time. It's until last year, actually. It goes back until last year. Our home winning streak is number 1 in the country, which sounds really good until you look at who we played. So our opponents, with the exception, the big exception I would say is A&M, right? We beat them. They were undermanned. They had one of their top players out, but still we got the win. We beat Syracuse, who is a dumpster fire, and Louisville, who is a dumpster fire within a dumpster fire. So, when you're beating North Carolina A&T, Tarleton State, Northeasterns, like that's great. It's a good stat that shows up in the articles, but the quality of opponents that we've beaten at home has not been good. So my premise is I don't think it's like we're back home, we're going to play well. I think, hey, we've got to play well against a team that looks very similar to us, not only in terms of pace of play and efficiency numbers, but in terms of record. They're 10-6, 2-3 in the ACC. They want this one just as much as us. So while I love the momentum around a home advantage, I'm not sure we have it.
Yeah, their losses I looked today have been a lot like ours, kind of the 18 to 20 point type losses. They've had a couple closer ones. I think these guys, I think they like their coach, Mike Brown.
Mike Young, that you love saying Mike Brown, but it's Mike Young.
They're the kind of guys that will run through a wall for their coach type thing, and they have that weird Wofford, that vibe, which is going away. Couture's going to play tonight, which has been one of our Achilles heels. The Padula reminds me a lot of a lot of the Notre Dame point guard that we had so much trouble with. Marcus, I always forget his name. Because he's an attacker, he's not afraid, he's got the green light, he runs the show. We always expect Reese to shut him down. Padula's going to come in as one of those guys. I want to prove myself against probably the best defensive point guard in the country, in my opinion. I'm obviously very biased, but I think it's actually true. And he's a tough kid from Oklahoma. So, if you can kind of shut that point of attack down and not let them get running wild, crazy, and they're going to have a good game plan. They run us. What's the word? Run us off the 3-point line. They're going to really smother IMAC. You can talk about more that stuff had, but I might be jumping ahead of myself. I think Jordan Minor is going to be a big deal in this game for us. Setting the tone inside, being that guy. You got 5 fouls. I don't care about the 2 fouls. Continuing from what he did, the end of the NC State game, and then a lot of the Wake game.
Yeah, no doubt. They've got some size. I mean, Lynn Kidd is a really good player, 15 points, 7 rebounds a game. I do expect Minor, if he doesn't start, he's going to play a lot, but I do think he will start. They've done pretty well in the transfer portal. They got Tyler Nickel, obviously from North Carolina. He's at about 9 points a game, shooting 38% from the 3-point line. And Robbie Barron from Northwestern is a good player. He's only averaging 5 and 3 rebounds, but a big 6'9" body. They're going to be tough. They're going to be tough. And Fresh, you alluded to it. Padula is a tough kid from Oklahoma. He's been doubted almost his whole life, right? He's undersized. He's 6 feet tall. I think they list him at 6'1", which means he's 5'10". That guy does not care at all that Reese Beekman. In fact, he's looking forward to it because he's played with a chip on his shoulder since he was a sophomore or junior playing in the EYBL, and no one was giving him any love until he started going off and got some offers kind of late. But really good player, floor general. He's like a Doug Flutie. Whenever I watch him, obviously different sports, but he is an undersized guy with a lot of moxie, a lot of toughness. Control Padula, and we'll be okay. It's going to be a low scoring game. The over under on this opened at 122 points. I'm sorry. The over under was 122.5. I think it's moved up to 124, but that's absurdly low for Power 5 teams. You never ever see totals that low. So I'm expecting a low 60s, high 50s close game here.
And Virginia's favored by 4, which means generally you give 6 points to the home team in college. You're looking at a close matchup, right? 4, they're saying Tech in UVA are basically really close, maybe a 2-point favorite for us and our Tech in a neutral court. So this should be really interesting. I'm not sure what to think of it. I'm hoping we pull it through, but 124.5 is the last over and under I saw. Games on ESPNU for those of you wondering what channel it's on. It's going to be. I feel like it's going to be a tight one.
It's going to be tight. Hey, Fresh, I got a point guard question for you.
Yeah.
All right, so Reese Beekman, 4th year, right? He's been around. He started pretty much every game since he's set foot on grounds. In-state rivalry, big game. What are you expecting from Reese? He's got a defensive assignment in Padula, but is this a game where, as a point guard, you say, "I'm not letting us lose"?
Yeah, listen. This is a game where the students are back again. We're not on the road. We're at home. The energy is going to be there. I don't care if people, we lost a couple games, the whole thing. The energy is going to be in JPJ. It's Reese's team, finally. He had a big game against them at home last year. Remember, he went down the middle, he had the big dunk, rose up above everybody, and really you saw the fire, the exclamation on it type thing, we're not losing. Yes, you said it perfectly. A guy like that who's the leader of the team, and he's that talented, is going to say, let's turn the ship around. It's I was thinking about it before. in the world of stocks, you call it short gamma. So when the stock market's going up, everybody wants to buy it. When it's going down, everybody wants to sell it, right? It's really hard to buy the what they call the falling knife. Fans get very short gamma. They want to sell it when it's low. I want to buy it here. I trust that they've been practicing hard. I've got some tidbits from people close about guys wanting to right the ship, so to speak. And it starts with Reese. Everybody's looking at him too, right? There's no say. We talk about a lot of the guys, whether it's Rhodey, sometimes IMAC, whoever it is, they're kind of looking for that. They're not just taking over. We need Reese to take it over and then other to bring everybody along with him.
Yeah, no doubt. I like that. What do you, Fresh and T-Dub, who do you think is going to take the floor tonight, starting lineup? Do we see the big lineup? Do we go back to what we've been doing? What happens?
I'm not great at this. TW's probably better. I think Rhodey off the bench. I think Minor starts. The same thing that we did at Wake. But what do you guys? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking it'll be the same as Wake. Generally starting lineups don't really matter. So, but it seems like we usually keep it pretty consistent. It'll be interesting to see, though. You're right. I'm not sure which way we go.
Do you think Rhodey gets his 30 minutes a game, or do you think they cut him back and give Elijah a little more burn and a little more freedom to operate?
I guess if Dante, I don't know if Dante warming up means Dante's playing. If you told me Dante was not playing tonight, I expected Elijah to have a lot bigger part in this game for a lot of reasons. I don't think Virginia Tech is daunting defensively in the pressure scenario of like a Memphis where you're asking Elijah to do a lot of things out of his comfort zone. I think he can run around a little freer. There's going to be a lot of focus on IMAC, and this is the time I like someone like Elijah to be able to roam and run around. I really wanted to see our team play basketball offensively, meaning play basketball, not run offense, not be methodical, not be predictable, which I felt like the last definitely 2 games we definitely were. Yes.
Yeah, Jen, Dante is warming up. We got that from someone in the arena, so he is warming up. I think that means he plays, right? You don't warm up if you're not going to play. So hopefully we see Dante, and that may affect minutes for some people.
The starters are out.
Sure.
I mean, for the first time in a long time, we've seen a lot of questions around the program and TB's, sort of strategies. He's been lucky in that everyone trusts him, and we talked about this. TB definitely gets a lot of leash from the fan base, obviously with the national title, but just in general over the years, he's kind of it's been that way for a while. Like people trust in his leadership and his style, and this is the first time probably since he started where he's starting to get a lot of questions. I don't know if it matters at all to him, but from outside looking in, it just looks like a lot of the fans are like, hey, what's going on? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And seeing a lot of questioning. What are your thoughts on that? Have you think it's appropriate?
So first of all, I'll say everyone should be questioned because that keeps programs on their toes. And I don't think Tony pays attention to it at all. I do think that he probably puts more pressure on himself than any kind of pressure we can apply as fans. At the same time, my guess would be that within the program, when the coaches are sitting around and looking at film, that question, not if you should be there, but should they open things up? I think that's a better question. Should they open up the offense a little bit? It's apparent to anyone who's watched our games that we are really thinking while we play.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work. That doesn't work in the game of basketball. That can work in baseball. That can work in some other sports. Basketball.
Badminton. It's really helpful in badminton, thinking.
Yes, badminton is tough, and I did see badminton in the Olympics, and I know why they don't call it good mitten after watching that for a while. But you know what? They have thought. Look, we've been harping on this for a couple of years. We struggle to score. We struggle with easy baskets. If you can get 6, 8, maybe even 10 points a game of easy baskets because guys make instinctive plays instead of running plays, that's a huge difference for our team and for the total. It leads to more wins. You know, the other thing that we've done really poorly, and I looked at it today. Our foul shooting is like, and we've talked about it on this pregame show.
Yeah.
It's sort of absurdly, unexplainably bad. Maybe there's not enough. Maybe we're not drawing enough fouls, but like not to pick on anyone, but Andrew Rohde has shot 10 for the year. He's playing 30 minutes a game. He is a athletic, player who thrived in that kind of freewheeling system at St. Thomas. I looked at when we signed him. There was a highlight tape that came out. He's almost unrecognizable from that highlight tape. So how do we tap into his instincts? How do we tap into that point where we can say, Andrew, we need you to do like what you did. Take some chances. I'm not going to yank you. Maybe we don't loosen the philosophy. We loosen the sort of strict, parochial mindset we have around offense. And we'll go. And foul shooting can be controlled. Jim chiming in. Very true.
But we only have one guy that draws fouls on purpose, and it's Reese.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he decides to go and he gets in trouble and he just goes to the guy and draws a foul. That's experience. That's playing offensively, not passively. Rohde, Elijah as well, they go to the basket and they try to get away from the contact instead of just play through it. If your shot gets blocked in the 10th row, it's still your ball, right? Who cares? But when you try to recoil and go backwards, Ryan Dunn's pretty good at it, but I don't want to say we want Ryan Dunn at the free throw line a lot at this point, but that's okay. He'll get better, and it's one of those things. If you go to the basket, go to the basket. Don't go to the basket to go away from the basket.
No, that's right. That's an easy way. I mean, Fresh, you know this. An easy way to get points is to get to the line. An easy way to get yourself out of a slump, like a scoring slump, is to get to the line. So
stack up free throws.
It causes problems for the other team. You start piling up fouls. You get to the penalty early. Guys have to sub in and out. And I don't think it's a great strategy to say we're going to just try to draw fouls to change the game. I think it is a good strategy to say when we have opportunity, when we are in a place where we can go and run and affect the game, draw the foul, get a point or two, and then we settle into our defense. It gives the guys a blow. There's a lot of positive things that happen when you draw fouls against the team, and we don't do that at a very high rate with the exception of Reese, to your point.
Jim's comment here. How about we get wide open for an easy three in the corner? Every other team does that.
In the corner. I don't. The short answer, or the fundamental answer, I would say, is to swing the ball from side to side. You swing the ball once, you get a shot. Swing the ball twice, you get a better shot. You swing the ball 3 times, you get a wide open shot. I don't see the quick swing of the ball back and forth. It stops. Guys dribble back. They look. I'm not sure exactly what we're trying to do, but it stops the next guy instead of just side to side. Maybe the defense is taking it away. Maybe they're saying it differently, but my simple answer would be to, especially the kids, is swing the ball from side to side quickly.
Yeah, and Jim, to your point, I think it's a really good point. We also don't. We have one shooter that's performing at a high level right now, from 3. Groves is, down into the the low 30s, roadies in the 20s for threes. IMAC, they don't want him to shoot. The defense is set to stop him from shooting. He's not going to get a look. So, the people that are going to get wide open threes in the corner are people like Ryan Dunn. You're going to get maybe a Leon Bond, like people that you don't want necessarily taking threes. Are the ones that the defense will give. So I agree with your premise. It's just people are locking down on our, two good shooters. Reese may get some, and Reese has been up and down. His shot is down this year, but he's certainly in the past proved that he can make it. So hopefully he makes it tonight.
I'll go to the second iteration kind of that have is, and Jim, let's say Ryan Dunn is being guarded 10 feet off of him and he's at the three, you still pass him the ball. If that's the right pass, you pass the ball. If he shoots it or doesn't shoot it, dribbles, doesn't, but you don't go away from that, right? That's playing exactly into what the defense wants. If they're leaving a guy open and you don't pass it to him in the natural flow of the offense, you're playing right into their hands. And our guys should be able to understand that.
T-Dub, let's go to predictions for score because we're getting close to tip.
Yeah, let's do it. You wanna start fresh?
Yep, overtime 72-68, Virginia Cavaliers.
Wow, overtime.
Overtime. It's gonna be a bad. I think I expect a battle.
I think T-Dub, I'll go next. I think it's going to be a rock fight. This is going to be, Gene Hackman picket fence level offense from both teams. I think 59-58, Who's win tonight. And I think Reese is going to have a really big game.
Love it. I'm with you on the low score. I've got 58-62. Who's right on the nose in terms of spread and under. So we'll see. I'm excited to see this game. It's been a little bit of a journey this season, but a win versus Tech I think will really help morale around. Just seeing the guys play is gonna be great. So look forward to it. We'll see you at the halftime. We're back on. Look out for us. Make sure you subscribe below. We will talk soon. Go Hoos.
Go Hoos.
Go Hoos.